In the blue corner, Maryville, Tennessee, CEO of Ramsey Solutions and national radio host, it's Dave Ramsey. And in the red corner, from Hilo, Hawaii, author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, founder of the Rich Dad Company, it's Robert Kyosaki. But who will be victorious when it comes to their views on debt? Let's get ready to rumble. Good day to you folks. Money Jim here, your money pal. When it comes to debt, there's plenty different views. There's two fellas in particular who got more to say than most. Dave Ramsey and Robert Kyosaki. Now they both got plenty in common. Both multi-millionaires. Both built their own companies. Both dealt with bankruptcy. And both got big personal finance followings. Their thoughts on debt couldn't be more different. See, one can't stand the stuff and the other can't get enough. Which one's take on debt is right for you? First off, let's start with Dave Ramsey. He sure does hate debt, calls it dumb. And if you know his story, you can see why. See, back in his 20s, he took on so much debt to buy real estate. When the banks called in his loans, he ended up flat broke and bankrupt. And from that moment on, Dave Ramsey did everything he could to get out of debt and stay out forever. And he did. And now he teaches other folks how to do that too, using the snowball method. That's where you pay off your smallest debt first and work your way up till you pay off your biggest debt last. Dave Ramsey champions a debt-free lifestyle with one exception: your home mortgage. He reckons you should get out of debt as fast as you can, even if that means just eating rice and beans, so that debt's gone bye-bye. He also don't like using debt to invest, whether that's real estate, stocks, or whatever, because he says you could go broke when markets drop. And more often than not, debt brings more risk than reward. Using debt as a tool is a myth, he says, and makes banks wealthy, not you. When it comes to buying stuff, it's cash all the way for Dave Ramsey. Now let's look at Rich Dad, Poor Dad's Robert Kyosaki. He sure does love debt. In fact, he loves it so much, he once boasted he's a billionaire in debt. That's right, he claims he's over $1 billion in debt. But he don't seem to mind much. He has had a few of his companies go bust already. Now, whereas Dave Ramsey reckons everyone should aim to live a debt-free life, Robert Kyosaki says living debt-free is the worst advice you could give. In his opinion, debt ain't all equal. There's good debt and there's bad debt. And the good debt is a tool you can use to build wealth and make you rich, if you know how to use it properly. Robert Kyosaki recommends using debt to buy assets that provide cash flow, or in other words, put money in your pocket, like real estate or dividend stocks. Oddly though, he's also super keen on gold, silver, and Bitcoin, and that don't produce any income at all. Anyway, in his view, it's how you use debt that makes it either good or bad. Once you use it to buy income-producing investments, it can grow your money more than if you didn't use no debt at all. So who should you listen to on debt? Dave Ramsey or Robert Kyosaki? Well, it depends. See, if you deep in debt and a ton of your earnings going towards debt interest repayments, you probably want to pay more attention to Dave Ramsey and get that debt gone. Don't necessarily have to use the snowball method like he says. You might want to pay off your highest interest rate debt first, for example. It don't matter too much which way you do it though, but I'm with Ramsey on this one. Get that debt gone before you even start thinking about investing. Plenty times, the debt interest you're paying is more than the returns you can get from investing. And if that's the case, it makes no sense at all to invest before you're debt-free. If you already got no debt, should you take rich dad, poor dad's advice and use your debt to boost your investment gains? Well, debt sure can supercharge your returns. You might have heard the word leverage. That's just a fancy way of saying using debt to invest. Here's an example to show how it's supposed to work. Say you invest $10,000 and get an annual return of 7%. That means your investment will give you $700 a year. Now imagine instead, use that 10 grand as a 20% down payment and borrow $40,000 at 5% interest. So now instead of $10,000, you're getting returns on $50,000. With that same 7% return, now you get $3,500 a year. But hold on a sec, you got interest to pay on what you borrowed, and that's $2,000. So from that $3,500 you earned on your investment, you're left with $1,500. Still better than $700 though, ain't it? By using debt as leverage, you've more than doubled your returns. And that's all fine and dandy, as long as everything works out. But what if it don't? You invest in real estate, what if your tenants don't pay? Or you uncover a problem with the property and it's now worth less? If you invest in a business or stocks, what if it goes bust? Or stock prices drop? Or dividends are cut? If your investments don't work out like you hoped they would, the lender won't take pity. You still owe him, and you still gotta pay him back. And if you can't, you're in big trouble then. So yeah, using debt can make you more money. It can also get you into a darn sticky mess. You gotta weigh up the risk and see if it's worth it. If you don't understand what you're investing in, you ain't got a lot of experience, you probably want to go easy on using debt or avoid it altogether. Robert Kiyosaki's views on debt should only really apply to investors with a high level of knowledge and experience and can stomach a ton of extra risk. Truth is though, you don't need to use debt to get rich. You can build wealth and become a millionaire without any debt whatsoever. And it sure is a safer option. You know the story of the tortoise and the hare? Well, the hare's like investing with debt. It sure can get you off to a head start. It can also catch you out along the way. Investing without debts like the tortoise. Steady does it. You won't make as much or grow your money as fast as someone using debt has the potential to. You're likely to make it to the finish line in one piece. I can't say I agree with Robert Kiyosaki that debt is either good or bad, depending on whether you buy income-producing assets with it. For me, however you use it, there's debt you can afford and debt you can't. It's all well and good having debt when everything's going to plan. But as a famous boxer once said, everyone's got a plan so they get punched in the face. And if that good debt you once could afford is now debt you can't afford no more, the debt itself is still the same, but that ain't good debt no more, is it? No sirree. So there you have it. Dave Ramsey versus Robert Kiyosaki on debt. I know who I'd go with. Who would you, sunshine? Let me know. See you next time.